Hello to everybody from Tiverton, Bead and Wool Shop again, and thank you very much for coming back to our podcasts or vlogs or whatever you can call it. And it's been a couple of weeks since I last spoke with you, and these couple of weeks been really busy, busy for us mentally and physically, really, because there is one first announcement which I would like to get out of this way. And the first announcement is that, you like it or not, we will be here for the next 5 years. We have finally secured our lease for the next 5 years because, as you possibly know from the previous podcast, at the moment, this month, we are celebrating our 10 years. And we've been here 10 years. So we will be here another 5. And with that, I would like to remind you as a first thing for this podcast, because there will be some other things that we'll be going through. It's like this jacket I'm wearing, I will be showing off if I don't die from heat at the moment, and other bits and pieces about knitting and crafting and what's going on in the shop. So the first things out of the way. So we have this month is, we have, hopefully when you watch this video, you still have a week left. And there is the wonderful pattern from Lisa Richardson, which is this one. It's the wrap. It's called Edith. It is Edith wrap. And this one, we have prepared kits. And I know you're reading this upside down, but in August, all the kits you buy for Edith wrap or this cowl, which is very similar pattern, which uses half of the yarn than the wrap. If you buy it in the shop or online, we give 10% to Devon Ambulance. And if you do come in the shop by end of August, we have a collection tin as well, which is getting nice and heavy. Actually, we have had quite generous donations there. And you can, of course, do it through to our Facebook page. And we have a fundraiser there, so you can donate either way. And we would be absolutely grateful for everything you will donate, and we can put to good charity. And I'm sorry I'm fiddling with my ear, because I really can't understand how people can run with earplugs in. I can't even sit still. And now then, before we go any further, I know I put a little bit of tease on Instagram, a little bit of photo of this top I'm wearing, and I want to get this one out of the way, because I will try to stand up without knocking camera over so you can actually see what it is. And the other thing is, it's very hot in it. At the moment, last week I tried to, twice I tried to do the video, and every time, if I keep the door open, somebody comes in. If I close the door, then I'm dying from heat. So anyway, so now at the moment the door is slightly open. The shop officially is closed on Mondays. So theoretically, we shouldn't have anybody coming in, but you never know. I shouldn't complain about people coming into shop, should I? So, this thing. I know it's brown, and some of you who watched my afternoon teas during lockdown have seen a work in progress. And the pattern is free. The pattern is, and yarn is from Isager Yarns. And of course, I haven't put the yarns in the front, but I will show you the yarns later. And it's done using 2 strands of yarn together, and you can see how there is 3 base colors, let's say 3 colors of yarn A and 3 colors of yarn B, and then you start to put, let's say, A and B, A and C, and you know, you can do your own combinations, and that creates that kind of very gradual, nice, interesting pattern. But, however, am I recording? Yes, I am recording. Oh, yes, that's good. I suddenly thought, like, what's this phone is doing? So I am on camera. Right, and I will try to stand up, because you need to see how it fits. It's a waistcoat, basically. And I will try to go slightly bit further away. What I like about Isager patterns, and this one is the second pattern I have knitted myself from that range or that brand, is how it fits. I think it fits absolutely. Oh, what's that? Oh, I have put the jumper on inside out. I was in a hurry. Now then, let's put it right way around. It's not that I'm trying to undress on the camera, but in a best possible taste, we just swap it. I have put it, I can't believe I did it, inside out, and there was the end. There was one end which I need to stitch in. Right, no, it's the right way around. And you can see how well the sleeves fit. I just love the way how they created, how the pattern makes the slope. So instead of being a massive square garment, it just hugs you. The garment just fits. There is no extra fabric. There is no, you know, the lines are just so smooth and so nice. I find it absolutely fascinating how they create this kind of fit. Obviously, with that kind of fit, it asks you for more precise knitting. You know, you need to do more work with your knitting. So you need to count the rows, you need to do this. And how I do it, if you go back to afternoon teas, you will find that I'm showing you where it's like just like a sausage. And other thing is, and this is kind of, you know, where sometimes people get very, very, oh, what do I do if, because originally I think because it was so, the pattern was so hot off the press, or they just created it. The first information we had was to start with 50 gram skeins, and there is the alpaca one, which is 50 gram skeins, and they said start with 3 of them and 3 of the trios, which is tiny cotton yarns. And I felt like that somehow doesn't feel enough for this garment. But that's what they said. And I started it. And yes, it does take more. I ended up for this one, which I think it's not the biggest size, but I think it's large. I done not extra large, or if there's extra large, then I did extra large. So anyway, and the pattern is kind of written in a free form, really. And you need to, it gives you instructions, let's say increase every 6 rows, change the color every 15 rows. But you need to little bit think about, you know, what you're doing, even though you just kind of nearly can die from boredom doing the stripes. You see, because it's only stockinette stitch. The stripes are pure stockinette stitch, and the other one is reverse stockinette stitch. So the only saving grace was changing the colors. So I ended up using 5 skeins in total of this one and 5 skeins of trio, or 5 balls of trio. And I did end up using 2 whites, I think 2 greys and 1 brown. It's just that the brown, I didn't want to start another skein. There is a little bit of leftovers for my size, but can you see the sleeve there and the sleeve there? Both sleeves should be brown, and I ran out of yarn. And I thought, like, I am not opening another skein just to do the sleeve. And yeah, so I just cheated. And I think if I wouldn't point it out to you, because there's so many stripes and so many different things going on, I just find it very forgiving. The other thing which I quite liked is how they have done the collar. And I know at the moment I've been, and it's getting hot. I'm taking it off in a minute because otherwise I can't finish the video. I will boil. The sun is blasting in this window, so it's kind of, anyway. Yeah, how they have done there, you pick up, because it's knitted sideways from there all the way through. So there you will pick up, that is your last stripe of the body, and this one is 1, 2 and 3 stripes of the collar, or whatever the band, neckband. And how they have done it, this one is stockinette stitch, this one is reverse stockinette stitch, but the last one is garter stitch. So there is no curling, no kind of funny things happening. The garment just sits correctly. Where I have seen other brands where the first thing is they don't do a shoulder slope, the shoulder comes out straight. And then when you put your arms down, your shoulders come out like a military, you know, you'll just look like a 3-door cupboard walking down the road. Anyway, so that's all about this jacket. I'm very pleased. All you need to do is pick up, and you can, I think, you can quite successfully combine Isager, alpaca 2 and alpaca 1 for this jacket as well. So I would say if you are like me, size 18, you will need 5 of those skeins and 5 of those. So if you're talking about 3 colors, you would buy 2, 2 and 1, and again 2, 2 and 1, and happy knitting. You might need slightly less of that, but if you are any doubt or you want to purchase it and you are not sure, please email. And other thing is, I will need to put the pattern, I think I have in a reasonable digital format, so I can email you over. If you're buying yarn for this jacket, which is actually called My Favorite Places. So idea is that you would think about your favorite places, about the colors, and then do your jacket in the shades. And now I'm taking this one off because otherwise I can't talk anymore. I need to, oh, that is a relief. Because the shop, when the door is not open properly, is just getting so kind of no air. And outside, even though it's rainy, it's one of those, again, one of those misty and muggy days. And the sun is shining, and then the rain comes, and everything just kind of, the steam is slightly rising. Now then, while we are on the knitting, the other thing which I would like to show you, because these sugar yarns are really nice on their books, and the loose patterns are very few, and they always release the loose patterns only when the books are gone. But we have this time bought, and I have made up kits for this jumper, which I actually have the jumper. You can just about see there, that jumper, first one there, that one there. So that jumper we have made up as a kit. And oops, now you have me, oops, now let's use this arm there. Are we straight? Yeah, we are nearly there back. So this one looks like that. And again, it's one of those models where, how do people cope with these things? Or is my ears absolutely wrong shape? Possibly my ears are wrong shape, but there we go. And it's garter stitch, but you can just about see on this photo, it has a lot of detail. It actually has quite a bit of shaping, and it has very, very interesting way how they finish the neckline. It's not the standard, just straightforward up and down, no increases, no decreases, but the jumper is beautiful. And we have made the kits now up as we have a loose pattern, and we have even made the original color, which I haven't had before. I haven't had this kind of, I have described this color as coral, and the camera red is not the easiest thing to actually do on camera, but this one actually shows the color very well. And again, it's combination of 2 yarns, same as the jacket before. It combines 2, and it combines the spinny, which is their very basic 100% wool, and you can see it's very fine. It's, I would say it's not lace weight, and it's not, I mean, would it be 2-ply? Maybe on old days, but the plies nowadays don't mean much. It more indicates the thickness. So it is quite fine, but the jumper is knitted on 5mm needles because you add the fluff to it. And I have my jumper, winter jumper, knitted with the kid silk or silk mohair. This one they call silk mohair. Other brands call it kid silk and all sorts of other names. And what it is, it's 75% mohair and 25% silk. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't touched it, go to your local yarn shop and ask. I know you will need to nowadays sanitize the hands and all the rest of it, but ask to stroke it. It's so soft and it's so beautiful. And if people say, oh, I can't deal with it, this is just gorgeous because it has the silk, so it has the more silkiness. It's not like a spiky, spiky and itchy wool. It's just soft, 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 and it creates the garment. When you mix it with harsher wool, it creates the garment which has substance, but it has the softness of the kid silk, and it's beautiful. I will be raving again. I possibly will knit something else when I finish this other one, which I will show you in a minute. But while we take break of the knitting, I think I haven't done yarn reviews for a while, but I will not be including yarn reviews in this podcast. I will be putting podcasts separate, and then the yarn reviews will be again separate. Oh, the other thing is on the loose patterns, which I have to put, they are not online yet, that's my next week's work. This one, which is interesting neck piece, and I read through the pattern, and they use quite interesting way of casting on, because I think you cast on here. So I read through and I thought like, that's interesting, I have never done it, so I will have a go. And this one is done in their alpaca 3, which is chunky yarn, and I think it needs only 3 balls. So the alpaca 3 is £7.50, so you're looking on £22.50 to make that garment on the yarn prices. What else we have? Oh, and I have ordered again. I quite like, if you will go online, their loose patterns are quite, I would say, they're not the cheapest ones in a block. The loose printed patterns are £7 and the children's patterns are £5. But this one again is, what I quite like is a totally different concept on baby and children's knitting. Here a lot of times I have people coming in and say, oh, but I don't want anything nice, I just want the cheap, what I could chuck in a washing machine. And I think it's like, it's a shame really, because how the kids will learn that there is something which you need to treasure if you don't teach them and you don't show them that there are things to treasure. And these ones, I think they have totally this different concept on children's knitting. So the children actually have the same garments, same yarns as adults. And I know some of you will object to it, and some of you will say, well, that's not right, or well, not everybody can afford it. But I think the affordability is an important issue. Of course it is. But I sometimes think, what can we afford and what we can't afford? Yeah, it's one of those where I will get in very, very difficult kind of conversation, and we can go for hours, and there's many opinions. My opinion is better buy once, buy something nice, and teach your daughter-in-law to treasure it. And if she is the type of person who chucks everything in a washing machine, and then maybe she doesn't deserve it, and if it is your grandchild, and why don't you teach the grandchild to actually look after their things? I know we have busy lives, I know we all have things to do, but just slowing down for a minute, and hand washing nowadays doesn't mean the same thing like a drag, like with 25 bowls of water and boiling and all sorts of things. It takes 10 minutes. And if you teach your child to do it, and I know I'm kind of going on about it, and I'm kind of, but if they love their cardi, if they want the grandma's cardi, and they want nice and soft, then why not? If they want to have same as their, as adults have. But anyway, so it all started, all this kind of lesson started with this pattern, which I think is absolutely adorable. It doesn't look much on the pattern, but this one again uses the silk mohair and spinny. And for the smallest size and 6 months, you need 50 grams and 50 grams, right? You need 50 grams of spinny and you need 50 grams of kid silk. So that would be, so you would need 2 balls of that and 1 ball of that. And obviously the pattern. And again, it's all fine knitting. Oh, well, this one is on a 4mm needle, so it's like a double knitting. But it's just one of those things where I think it's really, really pretty. And sometimes show people something better. And I know, oh God, I'm going on about it again. So what else do we have there? Again, lovely, pretty jumper. No baby colors in a sight. This one is starting from 3 to 7 years, and this one uses, you can use, we have Highland wool, and we can use again, or you can use both of the alpaca 2, and for the smallest size you would need 50 grams of each, so you would need 2 skeins. And the alpaca 2 have, by the way, is £6.95 a skein, so which is, and it's 50% alpaca and 50% wool, and I think that is very, very reasonable for what it is. So you would be looking on this cardigan or this jumper for the smallest size, you would be looking on 2 times £7 for the yarn. So you would be looking at £14. So that's what? A coffee in Costa with a friend. So that just kind of puts it into perspective. However, I've gone wild, as you can imagine. And last week, our shelves are starting to fill up with autumn collections. And this, I just wanted to show you. I'm not going to pick up skein by skein, but this one, we had the alpaca 2 in only the eco colors, which were undyed, which were these 3. Now we have a full spectrum. There we go. And I think the colors, some of them are just gorgeous. And this camera kind of, the colors actually like this dark wine. And there's the midnight blue. This one is just so full and so juicy. And the yarn is, I would say, fine 4-ply. So if you're after 4-ply by itself, then that could be maybe something you can do. Now then, other things. I thought these ones are fun, and I'm waiting actually this week because we had notification about face masks. And here in UK, if you're watching somewhere else in the world, I really don't know the rules everywhere. But here in UK, you have to wear face mask in public spaces like shops, public transport, and so on. And up till now, I've been resisting, and I think, yes, not resisting face masks, don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely up for it. What we can argue, does it give protection or not? I work on a principle, well, if it protects us a little bit and saves a spreading to one person, that's already achievement. And so that's basically my attitude. But I was flatly refusing to turn face masks into fashion statement. I thought it's necessary, we have to, but I don't want to have a fashion statement. I don't want to match my face mask with my top or my. Sorry, we are closed. Sorry. So I wouldn't want to. There we go. I lost my stride now. So face masks and fashion statements. Yeah. So, but I think I'm giving in because I think they are here to stay. And on that note, we were doing. I showed you a little bit last podcast, but now we have new bags in. We have new bags in on the woolly sheep. And if you can't read it, if it shows you other way around, it says it's not a stash, it's an insulation. That's the fun bag. And then I have another fun bag, which is this one. Oops. And these ones are brilliant shoppers. I have one for myself, and they are roomy. They have a gusset. You could put a lot of shopping in them or a lot of stash, whatever you wish. So those ones are great. And the same company is now, when we come back to the face mask business, same company has now sent a notification they are making face masks with the woolly sheep and puffins. So we will be pre-ordering them, and they should be then out very, very soon. So that's one thing. The other thing is this week is the last week of our birthday, and it's the week just before the Rowan launch. So the Rowan I don't have in the shop yet, so that will be the next podcast. I will possibly be talking through our picks and our selection of the designs from them. But so that's kind of it. And now the last thing I will show you. I will keep the patterns here. So I have started my next jumper. As I told you, I have knitted 2 of these ago, and this is kind of like, but I find I'm getting to the point in the life when I don't need anything. And I think the lockdown here in UK has put a lot of people's minds to that we actually don't need a lot of things. we want them, but we don't need them. And I realized that I don't need another jumper. I want to knit. And I want to knit because otherwise there is not much else to do and the evenings are getting darker. And that reminds me, I need to adjust window lights because my window lights are off for summer. But in the winter, they come on automatically like 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening till 11. So when you walk on the street, you can browse the windows nicely. But I have started my jumper. And all the story is that I have seen that jumper being worn by Helga from Isager Yarns, the designer. And I thought like I want it and I love it. And oh, there it is. And I just want it. So now they have released a pattern, and it's this jumper. I hope you can see it. You can just about see it. The jumper is called Pearls. And can you see the lines of, and that's the lines of tiny, tiny bubbles going down and creating V-shapes. V-shapes on the sleeves and V-shapes on the body. This jumper just looked absolutely stunning, and I thought like, I have to have it. I have to have it. And I wanted it. I thought like, well, I have knitted the dark bottle green. I still have that one, the big jumper with the turtleneck. And I thought this one will be slightly lighter version to wear, you know, just in season, you know, before the big winter jumpers. But of course, I knew there will be a lot of knitting. I knew it will be like 3.5mm needles, which is like a 4-ply to, it's quite fine knitting. Oh God, this one is driving me nuts and possibly you nuts. I will try to put the second one in and it might hold better. Yeah, so there we go. And there is a start of my jumper. And this red looks awful on camera. It looks pretty orange. It's not. It's more nice. Having said that, I wish I had more time and thought because I ordered this spinny. Oh God, it looks orange. It's not that orange. It's not orange at all. I don't know why it looks so orange. No, it's even more orange. It's a nice cherry red. Trust me, it's cherry red. And then I thought, because the pattern asks you to combine spinny with alpaca 1, which is the lace weight alpaca, which is 100% alpaca, to soften it up, I thought like, oh, the chili will do. And this one is reasonably true reflection. The chili is a bit more warmer, more orangey, and a bit more subdued than the other red. And when you put them together, you can see, yeah, this one you can just about see this is not true color. This one is nearly true color. So it turns the red, it turns slightly the brightness of the red down, and this one looks very red, but you can see how the sides go, that is the side of the jumper. Oh, it looks very uneven, but it looks better in the real life. But I must admit that these tiny little bubbles I'm making is kind of, yes, this one is last week's work. This one is back and I need to do 8 pattern repeats, and at the moment I think I'm in the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think I'm nearly finishing the 5th pattern repeat, and I can do roughly 1 pattern repeat a night, the time I'm allocating for knitting. But that then is cracking on. That is no breaks and not watching telly too much. You can listen to telly but not watch. But then I thought like, well, actually, does it matter if I finish a week later? Where I'm rushing? What's the matter with you women? Just slow down and enjoy your knitting. And yeah, my other half was kind of say, apparently there is a song, I'm forever blowing bubbles, so I'm forever making bubbles. Yeah, but other than that, I think the jumper will be stunning once it's finished. Because again, there is what I would call Isager detailing. Can you see how, like the side of the jumper, how the ribbing goes up to the point? And the same will happen, so the sides of the jumper will be more pulled in, so you don't have the bulge on the sides. And yeah, so I will be knitting front and the back separate, 2 sleeves separate, and then I will be joining them on the same circular needle and knitting on the round for some time, and then I will be splitting for the V-neck and starting to knit again back and forth. How it will happen, I'm not particularly sure, but I'm not too worried because we will get there. At the moment, it doesn't worry me. The only thing with the color, I thought, because now we have other colors in our pocket one as well, and I thought I might have been better. Oops, now this one fall out and that one stays in. Anyway, to put something like the dark wine with the red, instead of turning it warmer orange or warmer brownish, turning down the shade, turning it slightly deeper, like a deeper red, like more to the wine. But next time, on our next project, we will do it. So hopefully, I think, is that it? Possibly. Yes, next week we will do the Rowan. I hope I will have time to send all the mail orders today. Well, I will have time, but I will need to send you emails as well, dear customers. I have promised myself to do proper emailing and with things happening. Yeah, and don't forget, it is the last few days. And oh, yes, it is last few days of our 10th birthday. The other important thing is why it's the last few days. If you would like to have this pattern free, you need to do it. You need to download your pattern, even if you are not buying the kit. You need to download it by end of August. On the 1st of September, the pattern will be for the money. So if you miss it, if you snooze it, you lose it. So get the pattern at least, and of course get the kits if you would like, because again, we are donating a part of the money taken for the kits to Devon Air Ambulance. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope my chaotic talking hasn't bored you to tears, and I will see you next time, and there will be a lot more new things in again. I don't know where I will put it all, but the shop is kind of now transforming to the autumn. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.